Dads, have you ever had a moment where you realized your kid was silently going through something difficult without telling you? I never thought I'd miss my son's pain. As a single dad to a 15-year-old boy, I always prided myself on how close we were. Jake and I had the kind of relationship people envied. Open, honest, no weird walls. We talked about everything. School, friends, girls, even the awkward puberty stuff. Or at least I thought we did. About a month ago, I started noticing small shifts. His grades, usually pristine, had started to dip. Nothing drastic, just an A dropping to a B. But for Jake, that was rare. I asked him about it, and he gave me the usual teen response. Just a tough semester. Then he changed the subject. The real red flag came the weekend of his basketball tournament. Jake's team had made it to the finals, and he was the captain. He had been talking about it for weeks. Then suddenly, the morning of the game, he said he didn't want to go. Not feeling great, he mumbled, staring at the floor. This kid once played an entire game with a 102-degree fever because the team needed him. That's when I knew something was wrong, deeper than just school stress or being tired. That night, I passed his room and heard muffled sounds. I cracked the door open and found him sitting on his bed, hunched over his phone, wiping his eyes fast, like he didn't want me to notice. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah, just tired," he said quickly, locking his phone and forcing a yawn. I nodded, but something about that moment stuck with me. The next day during my lunch break, I drove to his school. I told myself I just wanted to drop off a snack or something, but really, I needed to see for myself. I peeked into the cafeteria and scanned the room. There he was, sitting completely alone, poking at a sandwich. Across the room, his usual friend group was laughing, talking, tossing chips around like nothing was wrong. Not one of them looked his way. That image punched me in the gut. That night, while he was in the shower, I broke a rule. I opened his phone. I told him I wouldn't unless I had real reason. I had one now. What I found crushed me. Dozens of texts from a group chat I didn't recognize. The name, No More Captain. It was a group of his teammates. They'd made it just to exclude him, and it was brutal. "Captain Choke, you lost us that game, loser. Coach only kept you around out of pity. Everyone's sick of pretending to like you." Message after message, tearing into him for missing a game-winning shot 2 weeks earlier. One even said, "Bet your own dad's embarrassed to have you." When he came downstairs later, I didn't yell or ask why he hadn't told me. I just said, "How long has this been going on?" He froze, eyes wide. Then they filled with tears. "How did you?" "I'm your dad, Jake. I know when something's off." That was all it took. He collapsed into my arms like he was 5 again, sobbing hard, like he'd been holding it in for way too long. "I didn't want you to think I was weak," he whispered into my chest. I held him tighter. "Jake, you're the strongest person I know, but strong doesn't mean silent. It means knowing when to ask for help." We sat at the kitchen table for hours that night, talking through everything. He finally told me how the team had slowly turned on him, how the teasing started out as jokes and just kept getting worse, how he pretended not to care until he couldn't pretend anymore. The next morning, I called the school and set up a meeting with the counselor. The coach got involved too, and to his credit, he handled it. There were apologies, suspensions, and mandatory team mediation. But more importantly, Jake saw he wasn't alone. It wasn't just about basketball or friends. It was about him knowing, really knowing, that I was in his